Well, good evening, everybody. Daisy here with you tonight, and we're going to have some thoughts for you. Uh, Tonight's thoughts are going to be on three movies. I kind of decided that I was going to if I want to talk about the Star Wars movies, I'll talk about them in their chunks of three. It seems appropriate, and uh, they're really comprised in units that are easy to deal with. So as far as the main three trilogies, I'm going to go in chunks. We're starting with the first trilogy that came out, not the first one, the original one. Starting with episodes 4, 5, and 6, which would be A New Hope, Empire Striking Back, and Return of the Jedi. Uh, these actually came out, the first one came out before I was born. I believe the second one came out after, but I didn't see it for quite a while. In fact, I first saw the final of the three original movies um, before I saw either the other two. In fact, it went 6, 4, 5, and because of the numbering system, I was very confused as a child why I was seeing 6. Where were the other? I saw 6, and then I knew A New Hope wasn't the first one. But then I went and got the second, which was 5. Wait, well, where's the other? Where are the other 3? We're short several movies. So thank you, George Lucas, for confusing my childhood. Appreciate that. Now, granted, these movies have been updated several times, quite a few times, with newer graphics, re-editing scenes, and I've owned more than enough copies of them. Still own pretty much every copy, think every copy I've ever recorded or possessed of them. So, we'll start off with A New Hope in here, part 4. We start off in the middle of movie. We actually feel like we're in action from the beginning. From right on the get-go, we have a ship under fire by a bigger ship that just seems to keep going forever. And he's not even the biggest ship that's going to be on the movie. And it just comes at that camera like nothing. So that's a good way to start a movie series back in 1977. That was 1977 graphics, kids. Think what we can do now. um, that was mostly by models on green, or I think it was blue screen at the time. In any case, models and camera trickery. The rebels are just barely starting to do stuff at this point in the series. The Empire is all powerful, and the undercover rebel cruiser that Princess Leia is on is what we're focusing on there. She got plans to some big crazy space weapon. I don't know what, something called like a Death Star. Drops it off with her with two droids that are on the ship. C3PO and R2D2, who are omnipresent throughout the entire 9 series. They make it down to the planet on escape pod. For everyone that hasn't seen this before, mind you, if you haven't seen any of these 3 movies or any of these movies I'm about to talk to, seriously, spoilers, go out and watch Star Wars. Get yourself caught up. I am not as good at this as they are. Now, I liked the idea that we had a giant ship really introducing this, and we had a smaller ship, which was still pretty darn big, be what was getting captured. Then we go down to a dusty planet, Tatooine. We meet Luke and eventually Obi-Wan, a bunch of sand people, also known as Tusken Raiders, Jawas, lots of interesting critters down there, a lot of interesting alien peoples, and the ride-along animals that were re-added later were the Dewbacks. They were There was one in the original. It was an animatronic ride-on, and it was fine until they got out in the heat in the desert, and then it stopped. So they just have some still photos of it standing in the background when they're exploring the desert. Uh, that's one of the things I was happy they added on in the remakes. We got Han Solo, who's the only person who shot at the table and killed Greedo to save his own skin. Um, yep, that's how I'm going to go with it. Han Solo and Chewbacca were some definitely good added characters there. They felt like they belong. I mean, this is like a movie older than me at this point, so I can't really complain about stuff like that. But they definitely felt like they belonged in the bar. They felt like they were good smuggler characters. And we escape with them. Uh, we find out that, oh no, the Empire did end up getting to Alderaan first, and they blowed it up. Fortunately, just in time, though, we end up there as they're still chilling and at the remains of Alderaan. Good guys get captured. They rescue the princess. Lots of shenanigans ensue inside the Death Star. Kill the tractor beam. And we escape in the Millennium Falcon with Princess, Leia, Chewie, Han, Luke, but no Obi-Wan. He sacrificed himself. Sad moment. Obi-Wan was pretty cool. Darth Vader, unfortunately, betterer now because he was less old, though more robot. Yeah. Anyway, scale of the Death Star was crazy big compared to what we had just experienced with the Star Destroyer at the beginning. We have this giant golf ball in space that had a docking bay that was practically a pencil line up until you came up to it, and then you dock in the smallest of the little docking ports with the Millennium Falcon, which was already pretty big. So this small moon really was ginormous and had a big blasty laser thing on it. Um, Fortunately, they take those plans back to the Rebel base. Unfortunately, they're being tracked. And figure out that there's a hole built into it that all you got to do is exhaust port, drop a torpedo in it, blows it up. Some more shenanigans ensue. We let Luke do the victory lap. Very few of the fighters come back in the end, but nobody, the planet doesn't get destroyed. Just the Imperial golf ball. After that, we end up on a ice planet. The Rebel base has moved at least once since the first movie. Hoth was a really cool escape from the foresty moon that they were on originally, Yavin 4. One of the best battles in all of Star Wars being the assault of the AT-ATs on the Rebel base. And that was totes cool. Not just in the sense of it's cold, but the fact that it was really neat. Giant walkers against little speeders. And this time, the Empire really technically wins because they end up raiding the base. They get there. But the rebels got enough time laid off. They were able to escape. Yay us. Unfortunately, the Millennium Falcon's hyperdrive is, puttered out. They're trying to limp away at sublight, and unfortunately, there is a fleet of them Star Destroyers. That big triangle, the big triangle for the first movie, they have several of those here, including a extra big triangle, the Executor, which makes the little triangles, the regular triangles that we thought were giant, look small. Later we learn it still was nothing compared to the Death Star. So we have an escaping Millennium Falcon. They get away into the asteroid field, yada, yada, yada. I was really happy with how the ice battle went. I felt the whole Hoth plot, and as a kid, I didn't much care for it. As an adult, I much more appreciate that part. The escape into the asteroid belt felt good. We had a lot of good space action here. A lot of cool interaction between TIE fighters, the Millennium Falcon, and all the asteroids. And then we got to Cloud City, which, again, as a kid, I didn't like this movie quite as much as the other two because it never felt like we had an end. It just felt like it was a middle. As an adult, it is my favorite Star Wars, mind you. I actually find the story that went on during it much more compelling. Cloud City was secretly under control of the Empire before the rebels got there. They get captured. Han gets put in carbonite. Luke fights Vader, finds out he's his daddy. Biggest spoiler in all of moviedom was when people started to find that one out before they got to the theaters. That was mean. People should not have spoiled that part. But it was a cool reveal. Even the actors didn't necessarily know until the day of filming. That was wicked sick. So we had a really good lightsaber battle there between Luke and Vader because Luke is young. He's not necessarily super experienced, but he's pretty good. And before that, we had Luke training with Yoda, which was, even as an adult, I find that kind of, wow, I feel like we're at school. This part's boring. But Yoda himself is cool. And learning about the Force, I suppose, is cool. And the swamp planet was still uncomfortably dirty. Yeah, well, I mean, it's a swamp planet, but I mean, uncomfortable. Luke loses a hand. We escape out of the through a hatch at the bottom of Cloud City. The remaining new party, which no longer includes Han, but we added a Lando, rescues the poor one-handed Luke off the bottom of the antenna thingy. And then we fly away with TIE fighters on tail. No. Fortunately, we are in okay status here as we escape from Darth Vader's command ship, the Executor, the Superstar Destroyer. Whew. We head back to a now forming Rebel fleet. Things are getting better for the Rebels. This was a big turning point for me. One of the few saving graces as a kid when I watched this one. It's because we finally had some actual cruisers on the side of the Rebels. Before that, we had, even in the beginning of this movie, all we had was like some freighters. In the first movie, we had one small cruiser, the Corellian Corvette or Rebel Blockade Runner, also known as Tantive 4. Was it 4 or 6? I can't remember. I know it's an I and a V, which was a small ship. So now we have a small fleet of Rebel frigates up there in space. And move on to episode 6. We start back on Tatooine. A lot's happened between then and now because we had to track down where the bounty hunter Boba Fett took poor Han in his carbonated state. It's back at Jabba's palace. Jabba the Hutt, big wormy guy, got his hands on his debtor, Mr. Solo, and is enjoying him as a decoration. We have a nice size amount of fun here and there, and their thieves' den of Evilton. Some undercoverness between Leia, Lando, Chewie gets to play a prisoner. Luke comes in just himself, being like, "Yo, release my buddy. I'll trade." And he's like, Jabba's like, no, I'm just gonna kill you. Luke takes out one of his favorite pets, the Rancor, which kind of sad. It's a big, creepy monster that could have been useful. Oh well. So we take all the kids to go get sacrificed to the Great Pit of Sarlacc, a giant monster, even bigger monster that lives mostly underground. All you ever normally see is like its mouth sticking out of the ground. And you digest for over 1,000 years. Ew. Probably don't live that long. Anyway, goodness happens. Jabba gets killed. We blow up his ship. Everybody that we want to escapes. Everybody we don't want to gets blown up or eaten by Sarlacc, including Boba Fett. This would tie into the Mandalorian part. Spoiler if you're not through that yet. That's where his armor got barfed out of at some point, as well as him. Yep, he did not stay dead. We escape, head back to the Rebel fleet, figure out what all's going down. We found out we have a newer Death Star, slightly bigger than the old one, but not quite complete. And the Emperor is actually going to be there. Woot! Palpatine, my man, you coming into play. So, we send a squad out to the forest moon of Endor, where the Ewoks live, that we don't know about yet, we just find out when we get there, to take out the shield generator, which... First, I liked the Tatooine scenes in this movie. That was really fun. I felt it was good action. I felt we weren't slowed down too much by overstorying it. We weren't overaction to the point where we're losing the story. The scenes actually looked really pretty. The vehicles did what they needed to do. They filled in the spaces. They did make good enough set pieces. The characters were all really cool looking. All the different scoundrelly people there of different sorts really filled in the holes. Getting to see the Rebel fleet really amassing at this point, awesome. It's the level of, it's going down at that point. So, we take a stolen Imperial shuttle, zip it on over to Endor to try and blow up the shield generator that's on the planet, generator shield around the Death Star, where it's currently parked while it's being built. Things go awry. This does not go well on attempt 1. The rebels end up in the care of the Ewoks. They try to think they're food. They convince them they're not. We escape. Well, we don't really escape. We become friends. And then we plan the actual assault on the bunker to take out the shield. Whew. Are you still with me here, kids? This is only 3 of the 9 movies. All right, so back to the bunker. Attempt to assault it. Don't do quite as well as we hoped. Kind of get captured a little bit. Start to escape. Few in and outs of Imperials are winning, Rebels are winning. In the end, thanks to the Ewoks, we capture the building, blow it up, and that way the assault on the Death Star can go on. In the meanwhile, before that's happened, the actual assault on the Death Star had begun. The fleet had come into range. Rebels were taking on a giant fleet of Imperial triangles. The triangles, however, were not shooting, just the fighters. Oh, what's so special about this? Why? Rebel fleet, however, was just going, oh, we're going to just bombard the hoo-ha out of you with what we got. Until the Death Star starts shooting. Previous to this, the only things we've seen the Death Star shoot at were planets. Now we have the Death Star shooting at ships. Ruh-roh, Raggy. They blew up several cruisers with that big old laser booper. Just goes right through them. Not good. Due to some amazing fighting sequence, a really great space battle, an excellent space battle going on up here. We end up taking out the Executor, the Superstar Destroyer, by flying an A-wing right through the command deck of it. Was like the final blow, and it succumbed to the Death Star's gravity and made a tiny, teeny, itty bitty dent. Because it just looked like flatness that it landed on. So that tells you how much it didn't make a major difference. It made a hole. Probably annoyed a whole bunch of people who were in that section, but otherwise, not so much. uh, at some point, Luke got surrendered himself up and was up on the Death Star with Vader and the Emperor. They have a scuffle-puffle. Luke takes off Vader's paw, just like Vader taking off his. That was, kind of over dramatized. Vader, however, goes, you know what? Screw you, Emperor. I'm siding with my kid. Takes the Emperor, throws him in the big pit of, doomy doom that just happens to be in the Emperor's room for some reason. I don't know. Personally, if I'm having a penthouse apartment at the top of the Death Star, I'm not going to have a pit of doom there. I'll have floor, maybe a couch, TV, um, Blu-ray player, PlayStation, something fun stuff. So otherwise, not really safe. Not OSHA compliant, children. Those little handrails there, not stopping someone from being thrown over the edge. Anywho, good things happen. They blow up the shield generator thingy so that the rebels can fly into the heart of this Death Star, blow up the central core. Everybody that we want to makes it out alive, more or less. Vader kind of dies on the way out, but Luke makes it out. All the people that were in the Death Star that were good guys fly out at the end, including Lando, who got to fire the last couple shots at the Death Star's core thingy. Wedge got to take out the other side. Yay, him. He was kind of important throughout all three movies. I just started talking about him right now. Sorry, Wedge. Didn't mean to forget about you. You are still important. Make it out. Big victory. The Empire is basically down more or less at this point, and we are running on fumes from the stuff after this. But it ain't over till it's over. We have some victory stuff at the end there. Everybody's pretty darn happy. Celebrations and many planets. Originally, it was just on Endor with the Yub Nub song, which was fun. Miss my Yub Nub, and we're stuck with kind of relaxing music and cheering at many scenes on different planets, including Coruscant, which we'd never seen before. But now we have celebration there as the Emperor statue gets knocked over. Yay! Whew. You're still with me? We're still going? Okay, good. Alright, now we got all that victory dance. Movie basically ends, and we are done with the first trilogy. And this was all the Star Wars we had for a long time. In fact, the next thing they did was they remade the original series, the original ones, but, remastered. They added more scenes to them, some deleted scenes that were just on the cutting floor for the longest time. Added in some digital a Jabba the Hutt to the episode 4, just before we leave Tatooine the first time. He got better on the Future Prince. The original one was pretty creepy looking. The final version on the Blu-ray variant I have, yeah, he looks fine. Overall, I liked pretty much everything about all of the original Star Wars. Funny thing is, the stuff I didn't like the most is still probably on the one I liked the most as a whole, and that would be the training with Yoda. It felt like it was just kind of, we felt like we had to do it, and we're kind of filling time. Ewoks, I actually didn't mind them. The fact that we had found ways for the primitive forest dwellers to actually rise up en masse against the Empire, which was not so much en masse on that planet, who didn't realize the terrain as well. This happens and has happened in real life more than enough times with terrain dwelling people and another invading force. Can't really do as well unless they get massive more numbers. Guerrilla tactics. Know your area. All right. Overall, three of the best movies that have ever been made. Three of the most fun movies that I kick back and throw in the movie player any given time. They're all on Disney Plus. They've been out on VHS, newer VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, probably 4K. I'm okay. I don't need to buy another copy of them right now. Blu-ray is good enough. Uh, so, do I recommend them? Yes. If for some reason you have not watched Star Wars yet, by all means. I'm a big fan of all of it. If you want your best initial story, yes, the first one probably is a good, solid, comprised story. It's episode 4, New Hope. The one with probably some of the best action and some of the most compelling story, but not really feeling like it completes, episode 5, Empire Strikes Back. You will have so much more fun than you're expecting, being the kind of middle child film. Return of the Jedi has a lot more big set pieces and a lot more big things going on, but the story isn't quite as good as the other two. I felt like it was not really thought out as heavily, more the we need to finish this kind of situation. And though the space battle was wicked, wicked sick, it could have been better. We could have focused on a little bit more. That would have been more fun, in my opinion. We focused way too much on the ground battle in Endor, where we could have been having more spacey battle, and because there were a lot of cool ships up there, it felt like we had a lot more that should have been going on. That's how I feel, anyway. But overall, yeah, that's what started Star Wars back in 1977. That's years older than me. Not too many, mind you, but a few years older than I am. We started into this wonderful game. And we're still having more Star Wars content as we speak. Hopefully we get some more mainline stuff. I don't know. But we'll deal with that for now. Next we'll probably go over the prequel trilogy, because that actually physically happened next. So, for now, this little bunny's going to sign off. Definitely want to thank you for spending some time with this fluff bun talking about Star Wars. And please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Little dingly bell for said dingly bell. Let you know when I post new videos. Who knows? Maybe another Daisy video. She's really been calling to me a lot. Her and Mewtwo especially. And a little bit of Susser. But there's other kids. They're right up there, looking at me saying, why isn't it my turn? And, well, some of them will get more turns. Because, well, I like to give turns. But I'm wearing what I feel like, and right now, feeling bunnish. Mm-hmm. Like, comment, subscribe, ring dingly bell. Oh, and Patreon link in the description box below if you are so inclined. I do not require it. Viewership is more important to me than any donations. Please just take time to watch my videos and share them with your friends. But for now, this Buns, thanks you again for spending time with me. I hope you're having a good day. And I'll see you all again on another video. For now, stay bunnerific, and I will hop along.